Happy 4th of July, everyone. I'm sure all of you are joining me in celebrating what an awesome country that we have. We're so lucky to be here. God bless the USA. God bless you guys. And with that, I think the Chicago Bears just got a double dose of good news during kind of this dead period, these dog days of not having football in our lives. Training camp is just about here. And there's a source called Sharp Football. I'm going to go to this. I just absolutely love these guys because they have takes that the national media isn't really fully on board with. And this is an article. I'm going to talk about another area that the Bears got some good news on their team as well. But in this article, they talk about where the NFL wide receiver and tight end rankings stack up against the whole league. Now, this rating is done taking into account only the 2025 season. And it's not just raw numbers. They're watching film. They're projecting for the current season only. And this is just really nice. They give receivers composite scores, and then each receiver's on the projected 53-man roster is averaged, and the Bears' annual score for this year was calculated as 77 out of 100. Now, where did that place them when stacked up with the rest of the NFL? That puts them in the top 10, and that's really good news. I think it's something that we already know, but when your team really rebounds, when you start adding players, when the culture changes, when you get the right head coach, like I believe that we did, the media starts to slowly catch up. The vision of what your team actually is starts to catch up with our optimistic view as Bears fans. And this is just really cool. And this is going to come straight from the article. The receiving core was the Bears' highest ranked group, finishing 7th in our voting. DJ Moore remains the team's top target, but they have a lot of young talent. Rome Odunze, Colston Loveland, Luther Burden III. I think we all know this, right? But what I think the real good news is that there are some players that weren't even mentioned in these rankings that I think are going to be low-key, kind of the keys to this offense. You didn't have Zacchaeus mentioned, who very well might be the Bears' number 3 since Luther Burden has a soft tissue issue. It might be an injured wallet. I'm not sure. But Zacchaeus is no slouch. He caught 45 passes for 506 yards for the Washington Commanders a year ago, and he's a yak guy. He can just play on his head with the ball in his hands. I think 80% of his yards last year were yak yards, not figured into the equation. And then we also signed wide receiver Devin DuVernay. We're looking at a former all-pro returner who can catch both kickoff and punt returns and provide depth to the room. He was one of the players that were really showing out, were really sticking out during mandatory minicamp. And I just think those other two players, coupled with Cole Kmet being figured in, guys, this offense is going to be a little bit better than even this top 10 ranking is going to say. So I think that's really good news. And we're also looking at Bears quarterback Caleb Williams equipped with an even richer and more diverse set of talented pass catchers for the coming season. Ben Johnson's offense is being designed to help Caleb improve upon his rookie numbers. And I think even more good news, Chicago is placed pretty high up in our own division. I mean, granted, it's a tough division for receivers, but guess who's at the bottom? That's the Green Bay Packers. And that's even more good news. I think that might add even a triple dose of good news to this. Let's look at a division absolutely stacked with wide receiver and tight end talent. Pass catchers for all 4 teams rank in the top half of NFL teams. You got the Lions being the gold standard right now. We'll see with Ben Johnson leaving, but they rank at number 1 with a 95 score out of 100. Then you've got the Vikings. Look, it's the Vikings. Look at who they have. They have a 93 score. The Bears are down at a 77, and the Packers a 56. So let's kind of break this down. And we have time to break down things like this during this time in the summer. And let's just have some fun as we relax with our families. We're looking at Detroit, led by Amon-Ra, wide receiver J-Mo, tight end Sam Laporta. They top the list, and I think that's hard to really argue with right now. I think Cincinnati could definitely argue with that. But Minnesota just 2 points behind them in third place. Hard to argue as well. You've got Hawkinson at tight end, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison. But then you have Chicago ranking as the third best receivers in the division, but only 4 places behind Minnesota in 7th. So that's a really good sign. The good thing is Green Bay, they rank last in the division, 13th in the NFL, far behind the rest of the division. And you're looking at Matthew Golden possibly working out for them, Tucker Kraft, Romeo Doubs, Jaden Reed, and then you've got Christian Watson, but he's going to miss a good chunk of the season with that. I think it's an ACL injury. So that's really good news. But also, PFF thinks really highly of the new Bears offensive line. And this has been another weakness, right? We've had a team that traditionally, the big excuse has been, why didn't Justin Fields work out? No offensive line, no receivers. That's why he didn't work out. Tons of excuses, coaching, all this stuff. These excuses are slowly dropping away. And let's kind of look at this offensive line. You guys know that it is greatly improved. But let's kind of look at where their line was last year. 24th in the NFL. Keep in mind there's 32 teams in the league, so that is not good. Absolutely awful news. But let's look at what we're looking at here for in the future, because it's been shown by the Philadelphia Eagles, right? This game is won in the trenches. I mean, they absolutely manhandled both lines, both sides of the ball. Relentless pass rush. Offensive line had an ability to really create rushing lanes for Saquon, right? Hold up and pass protection. And the Eagles just racked up lots of points in the Super Bowl. That's history, right? It's a copycat league, and I'm glad the Bears have caught on to the game. GM Ryan Poles made a ton of moves. Trade for Jonah Jackson, Joe Thuney, and they've led the PFF to rank the Bears guard tandem as one of the 6 best in the league. That's right, one of the 6 best in the league. And you're looking at interior line problems being the Achilles heel for these guys. Center position, right? Cody Whitehair. His decline, really understated, I think. We held him for too long. Tevin Jenkins, I actually liked him. He could be a stud, could never stay healthy just annually. Nate Davis, don't even want to talk about that guy. But we're looking at Jonah Jackson coming off an injury season in LA. He's traditionally been healthy. Joe Thuney, he has been solid his complete career. So let's get to the actual analysis. PFF really puts this into perspective, and this should just be fun just to hear. I think it makes our holiday that much better. So this is from Mason Cameron, his analysis of these 2 guards. On Thuney, PFF's second highest graded guard. Although Thuney's moved to tackle late in the 24 season, it actually hampered his production and grading. But even with that, when he was lined up at guard, he's still one of the most polished pass protectors in the whole NFL. We're talking a 90.4 PFF pass blocking grade, a 90.4 PFF pass blocking grade at guard last season. That leads the NFL. His 4th straight season to top the charts, he allowed 0 sacks, just 1.9% pressure rate. I mean, we know that he's good. We know that he's a great addition. We know that he's a great addition for the locker room as well. But to really see those numbers, a 90.4 PFF pass blocking grade, didn't allow a single sack, and just a 1.9% pressure rate. That would get any defensive lineman facing up against him immediately fired. Great addition. Great job, GM Ryan Poles. And let's look at Jonah Jackson. He is sneaky good. He was the 31st highest graded guard, but let's kind of look at this a little more closely because it's not about last year. He was restricted by injury for almost all of 2024, and it ended up with the Rams benching him and trading him to the Bears. But he is now reunited with former offensive coordinator Ben Johnson in Detroit. So let's look at his 2 seasons under Johnson. Let's throw out last year. He's not the 31st highest graded guard. That's not who he is. During his 2 years with Johnson, he ranked in the 93rd percentile in positively graded run blocking rates, excuse me, at 16.2%. And then you're also looking at perhaps the biggest upgrade on top of them, Drew Dahlman, absolute stud, absolute difference maker at center. He finished the 2024 campaign with PFF's 4th best grade among centers. This is so good to see. I know you guys know that we have greatly updated these lines, but I think this is good news to have while we celebrate our company today, our country today. Now you're looking at Braxton Jones is the 25th ranked tackle. Right guard Darnell Wright comes in at number 26, but you're looking at the strength of this interior, right? You don't have to work hard to make a case for Chicago's offensive line to be in the top half of the league, but there is a question to ask. I think they're top 10 right now, and a lot of pundits are saying that they might be even top 5 before a play is even played. I don't want to go that far. I think the Bears are a top 10 unit right now. Prove me wrong. And we've also got a really exciting competition at left tackle. So it's not a situation that we're putting guys in at the line and being like, I hope he can make it. I hope he can start. I hope he can be the answer. We've got competition up and down the line. We've got solid depth. We've got a really exciting competition at left tackle. I would absolutely love Braxton Jones to be ready, but if he's not in camp, we're looking at two guys, Trapillo and Amagaje, that are in a really spirited competition. I think that's going to conclude with training camp. Obviously, there will be an answer, but these guys are going to absolutely ball out. I think they're two absolutely fantastic developmental prospects, and I can't wait to see what happens. You guys let me know. I know I'm always super positive. I'm always super optimistic, but I think this year there's actually reason for that. Let me know what you think. If you think the wide receiver core for Chicago should actually be number 1 in the division, you guys let me know. Enjoy your holiday. Love to you and family. God bless, and I will talk to you tomorrow with more Chicago Bears news on the daily. See you guys later.